All right, hello everybody. Welcome back to the channel. We are back on another episode of Robinhood Weekly. This is episode number 8. We're late because of Tanner. This guy, he runs on Canadian time or something. I don't know.
Not even remotely. You know, I was late like a minute ago. I just stopped my stream and hopped on this one, and you still weren't ready.
By the way, we should be in the 3-person layout. That's even nicer. I think.
No, I hate that you guys do that on Sofi Weekly. Why do you guys do that? This is not
so nice.
good.
How is this better?
This
So
is
nice.
so good.
This is
I don't
not
think you have the head
good,
for it.
bro.
Okay.
No,
Pull it.
no way.
Pull
This
it,
is
Amit.
too
Pull
much
it.
face to face.
Pull it.
You gotta bring it back. I want it in the chat. You guys let us know what you guys think.
I see you do it on SoFi Weekly. I'm like, why are they so close to us? I don't get it.
I think for me, it's because I'm so poor I can't afford any decorations behind me, and it makes me look less poor. So,
well, you're probably poor because you spent all your money buying the dip today.
maybe
Because we got a dip. So let's talk about the elephant in the room. We'll bring it back to Robin in just a little bit. But Deepseek caused NVIDIA's worst day since 2020. $600 billion in market cap gone. Tanner, you have been the longest NVIDIA investor out of all of us. What is your raw take on this, and what impact do you think it has on the broader market?
Well, I mean, I was on the channel earlier talking with you, but I'm not too concerned. I knew this was a bear case over the weekend. Like this was concerning, but I would never have anticipated it was this much of a sell-off for NVIDIA. I think that they're still going to do very fine. I think a bunch of these companies are going to reaffirm their CapEx. I think it's whenever you see the smartest people in the world with the largest clusters in the world, talking to you, Elon, are coming out and saying, this is like the way that they're describing this is not true. I gotta trust them a little bit. Why would he defend NVIDIA? What's his benefit here to defend spending a ton of money? You know, I have a lot of belief that although what they're doing might be interesting and that there's ways to potentially save money here, that the TAM is potentially 1,000 times larger than what people think it is. And so NVIDIA is still going to be a large benefactor. I'm not selling.
Roy, your raw take on Deepseek today?
probably worth buying the dip on pretty much everything. So, one, we don't know how real this is. So the product itself seems like it's incredibly real. It comps well to some of the better LLMs out there. So very good product. What is partly not real is the clickbait headline: 6 million, 5.5 million costs. Well, that's trading costs just on V3, and we're not even sure if that's accurate because people are forgetting that sometimes you can't trust technological breakthroughs and all the details directly from China, at least at first. You guys might remember, but August, really summer 2023, LK99 electromagnetism, that little floating thing that was such a big deal. It was a total utter fraud, despite a white paper being published. Now, I don't think that this is a fraud. I think probably there's a good chance that the training costs and methodology are being exaggerated. But if that's not the case, or if that is either way, if there is some training cost savings, that's actually a really good thing for the market overall, rather than just the hyperscalers and the mega rich and wealthy having access to this. It gives broader access to a lot of people. It's much like the internet getting into hands of a lot of people instead of just the large and powerful telecom companies. So it's a really, really good thing. Long term, short term, it could cause more pain in the markets. We could see more downside, and it could be painful. It's not the death of it, but it could be a little bit painful for like NVIDIA. I'm not sure. I don't own NVIDIA. I'm interested in NVIDIA. If it keeps falling, I'll get really interested in NVIDIA. But no, I think this is an opportunity on pretty much everything else because long term, this is a really, really good thing and has really strong positive economic implications for almost everything.
Yeah, that is the highlight, right? Is that this is super bullish for markets, for just general the economy. Like more AI, better, cheaper, faster, potentially. Awesome. It's just whether or not it's going to be impactful for the next years or so, because a lot of the economic growth was supposed to be coming from spend, like building up the infrastructure for this next wave of growth, and maybe that buildup doesn't need to happen. But I am very skeptical that that's even going to be the case. I don't know if it's a magnet, but like I just think there's so many things that are weird about this. Like this whole Deepseek thing being top of the App Store too. I'm like, how's this even possible? Like it doesn't even make sense to me. I don't get how they got there. It kind of feels like this could be a little bit of a campaign to stir up a market collapse. Like I don't know. It's like, how did it get there? I saw it at the top of the App Store. It had 15 comments on the App Store. That doesn't happen. You're beating out ChatGPT with a couple million downloads.
Yeah, it's a little weird how quickly that spiked, and yeah, we'll just have to keep an eye on it. It's interesting, and the great thing is like the timing really is actually not bad at all, because it gives a few days, really over the weekend, and then plus a couple of days as well for some of the major hyperscalers who are doing earnings to report and just say, hey, yeah, well, but basically just to actually comment and throw in their 2 cents. So it's actually a really, really good thing, I think, as far as the timing. So I am guessing that the dip is fairly short-lived on a lot of names. It might be longer in NVIDIA. It might take a little bit longer to understand that. I'm not sure though. But yeah, I don't think this derails the bull market. I saw somebody calling for a 30% correction in the NASDAQ, and it just like back to 2022 highs. I'm like, no, I don't think we're getting a market crash from this. It's like it's kind of like if we discover this amazing new energy source, and suddenly energy, it can be accessed a lot more cheaply by almost everybody without barrier, within the next few years. Well, that's going to be terrible for the big oil companies and for Enphase and others too. But like overall, it's a fantastic thing for the market. This
Right.
is like that.
Now, it's important to make sure that just because it seems like a miracle product doesn't mean it's not true. Like
Yes.
GLP-1s, whenever they were first being looked at, I was like, yeah, well, I mean, this is going to cause cancer or something. Like, but then it just seems to be a miracle drug, and you're like, oh, well, I missed out on that. So, yeah,
Well,
it's
this
always
is
important to keep some level of optimism of like, oh, maybe this is just amazing breakthroughs.
My guess is that the training savings were overstated and all the rest is real. Maybe not the H800s. Like that's the one other, but that doesn't really matter.
So this is what Sam Altman just said, literally right now. Deepseek's R1 is an impressive model, particularly around what they've been able to deliver for the price. We will obviously deliver much better models, and also it's legit invigorating to have a new competitor. We will pull up some releases. But mostly we are excited to continue to execute on our research roadmap and believe more compute is more important now than ever. That means buy NVIDIA before to succeed at our mission. The world is going to want to use a lot of AI and really be quite amazed by the next gen models coming. Looking forward to bringing you all AGI and beyond.
So what do you think he's doing? He's holding up his own private valuation?
100%. But even if his valuation goes to shit, I don't think that's bearish NVIDIA. That's just bearish foundation model companies, right?
Yeah.
Well, hold on, because why would he say, a lot of compute is needed for this? That is a bet on GPUs. Okay. So he's not defending the foundational model. He's defending their spend.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's directly related to NVIDIA.
No, I know, but that's bullish NVIDIA to me. But regardless, if Meta can spend as much as OpenAI and make an open source model, he's not going to be able to defend his valuation, but he can still defend the necessity to spend on GPUs, right?
No, I know. I don't care about OpenAI. I just care about.
Yeah. So you and I agree. It's bullish NVIDIA, 100%.
But I just don't know if he's actually if what he's saying is that he truly believes that, or he's defending his valuation. And by valuation, I mean they're like, because they just said a week ago, hey, we've got $100 billion going out, day one, Stargate project, all this stuff. And oh, by the way, none of this is needed because you can train for much cheaper. Obviously, they don't mean that you don't need billions of dollars, but potentially much less. Are they defending the Stargate investment? Or like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I guess we're going to find out over the next couple of weeks with big tech earnings. I mean, this is going to be the number one question for all these CEOs. It's like, do you need to keep spending on CapEx? And if they say no, which I don't think, Zuck said on Friday they're going to spend $65 billion. If that changes in 5 days, then we have an issue.
I think all the big companies are going to say they're spending, and all the secondary companies that aren't buying directly, like Salesforce and ServiceNow and all these companies, are going to say, hey, look how good Deepseek is. And AMD and all those businesses are going to hype up Deepseek, and all the leading companies are not going to defend it at all. That's my bet, 100%.
Okay, so let's bring it back to Hood then. We had about 6% decline on Hood. I sold some puts at 47, so took advantage of a dip from that perspective. Do you guys think this means anything for Hood, or it's a down day because the Nasdaq was down?
I mean, it's largely, just being caught up. I think the fear of some people, maybe the reason why Robinhood sold off a little bit more aggressively than you would expect. Well, it's run up a lot. And so I've seen that in a lot of other names. I mean, it sold off more than Palantir. So that was pretty impressive. But B, I think that there were some people, and I saw it, and they're not even perma bears that were necessarily saying that. They're basically calling for a correction or a crash from this. And if that was the case, I mean, yeah, that would hurt Robinhood. We've talked about its cyclicality. However, I don't know how long this dip will last. I don't think it'll last too long. We're still in a bull market. I highly, highly doubt that we get a crash. A lot more would have to happen. And, the long term, I think that lowering the training costs and increasing the accessibility for companies and individuals to this is very bullish for the macro, and thus very bullish for the markets. A lot of between just companies that exist right now and a lot of future startups that'll have access to this and be able to be created, very efficiently, very cheaply with, very pristine valuations. All of that is good for the market, and that's great for Robinhood. So I bought some of the dip today, and the number one buy that I had, Robinhood.
Tanner,
wow.
Your thoughts on if Hood benefits from all this or doesn't?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it'll just be pretty like the same way I looked at it before. This is roaring 20s. Before these models or not, I think it's still roaring 20s. It's just a matter of who is the benefactors now. Is it, the tech companies or the infrastructure plays? And I think before Friday, it was the infrastructure plays, the picks and shovels are the real winners. And now it's going to translate into the companies that are going to use it. Like Amazon is going to be probably one of the largest benefactors. And, companies like this that utilize AI on their everyday. Robinhood, Sofi, all the companies that aren't pouring all this money into the back end side are going to benefit from Deepseek and love this move.
What about Palantir, Tanner?
I'm sure they benefit. I'm sure they do.
I think that they will a lot, actually. I think I saw this. Palantir fell like everything else. Well, not everything. PayPal was up, but Amit, what do you think about implications? I know we're talking to Hood Weekly, but I'm just kind of curious. Positive, negative, neutral for Palantir.
This is great for Palantir. Palantir's been saying this forever, right? They've been saying that this whole LLM bullshit is bullshit. Like spending all this money to train on these models is great, but these models need to have a purpose. So I think Palantir has been vindicated today to some extent of how important it is to actually implement the models. I mean, like we can still spend as much as we need to build better and better models, but it's kind of a great position for Palantir because all they need to do is show top line growth in the enterprise of implementing those models, not spending the hundreds of or the tens of billions in building it. So they fell today because they're a high beta stock and they're growth stock. So they went down with the market, but I think it's good for Palantir. I also think it's good for Hood because if this is a buy the dip, more people are putting money into their Hood app. More people are buying options today, selling options, buying back covered calls. I mean, more people are probably just taking advantage of this opportunity as they did on August 5th. I mean, Vlad said they had $500 million of deposits on one day when there was that aggressive of a dip. So, I mean, if that's the case, maybe this ends up helping Hood to end out January.
Yeah, there's a lot of volume on the overnight market too for Robinhood. Well, not for Robinhood. Like we see it, the number that we see on the Robinhood app, it's for boats, so it's not all Robinhood, but a good chunk of it does go through Robinhood. So yeah, doesn't hurt.
Right. Okay, so let's talk about something Roy found out. By the way, SoFi just got level 1 options. I don't know if you saw that, Tanner.
No, there's not a chance.
This just came out.
Yeah, you think that's an email?
This is fake? You think it's fake?
100%.
Why would it be fake?
Well, I mean, just look at it. When have you seen an email? I don't know. I've never seen an email like this from SoFi ever. We now want to announce that level 1 options are now available on the SoFi platform. Why would they ever say that? I don't know. It just doesn't seem. Why would they call it level 1 options?
Because I called it that, and they're calling me out.
Yeah.
Well, why?
I think that,
Why is SoFi community spreading fake news then? What's going on here?
I don't know. It was a big thing on the SoFi week. I mean, maybe it's real, but they also released, their Plus subscription today, which was $10 a month. Look at how the email looked there, and now I cropped it a little bit. I'll show you, but like, it's a graphic.
Yeah.
Not a text. Like, I don't know.
Okay, hold on. This is great. Let's talk about this compared to Hood Gold, and then we'll get to what Roy found over the weekend. So, do you think this is going to be successful? A $10 a month subscription, which is double what Robinhood's Gold subscription is?
Well, it's $10 a month or free. So this is targeting a really small audience of people that just simply don't have access to direct deposits. So potentially like you, Amit, or no, I guess YouTube might do that, but bringing from your business to your personal or something. Would you rather pay $10 a month if you don't have direct deposit to a personal account? I don't know. So this is
hold on. I thought the purpose of SoFi Plus was to make a subscription revenue service. You're telling me that's basically not the purpose of it right now.
I think it's to capture the people that they don't have direct deposit for and that they can't monetize.
See, this is the issue I have with SoFi. Robinhood's building a gold subscription product, and they're justifying you to pay $5 a month because there's value in the product. SoFi is doing this gimmick of trying to get you into the platform by setting up direct deposit and giving you $10 worth of free value per month, which is BS. It's not actually free value. It's just what they're saying is perceptually $10 of free value. I mean, like, does that make sense as a go-to-market strategy on a subscription product?
I don't even know what you're saying. All it is just, hey, if you have enough money in your account, do you want to bump up your APY to 3.8%?
No, what I'm saying is they want to build other forms of revenue that justify a tech multiple. One of those ways is to build a reoccurring subscription. And they're basically using it as a gimmick to just get people to set up direct deposit.
No. It's not about that. I don't think that they're wanting a subscription business. They want people to...
Oh, yes, they do. Noto was in the Goldman conference in November. Noto was hyping up the SoFi Plus.
Yeah, I don't think it's for $10 a month. I don't think that's what they're looking for. I think that once people are paying $10 a month or they're doing direct deposit, that they will hold a larger percentage of their assets under management or spend more of their total wallet through SoFi. So, and gold is the exact same thing, but if people have a relationship like this with SoFi or the SoFi Plus where you get more benefits, you're not going to use multiple different brokerages or multiple different bank accounts. You're going to use just one because you're already paying for it. But there's a percentage of people that just simply can't do direct deposit. I thought
the point was to monetize the 10 million users in a different way. That's what I thought. Like,
well, it's something like close to 30% of them are already SoFi Plus. So like they're trying to do that. I think this is just closing the gap on there's a certain percentage of people that cannot do direct deposit. That's not the way they get paid.
No, I get that. That's fine. I just thought the whole point of SoFi Plus was to get SoFi members to pay something extra a month that SoFi can make money off of because the features are so good that you'd be willing to pay Like, this is totally not that.
Well, it's not so then they can get $10 a month. It's so then they can have a deeper relationship with SoFi and stick with them longer. They say that SoFi Plus users take out more products than non-SoFi Plus users. That's what they want.
Christopher Russo said, "I'll pay $10 for level and options at this point." There you go. Just add that into the SoFi Plus recurring revenue subscription. I don't think I agree with Tanner. I don't think that that's the main point of it any more than the $5 a month. You know, that its main purpose is to generate a subscription revenue stream for Robinhood. Its main purpose, that is a nice side purpose, but it's
Bro, that's $100 million business. That's not a joke. That Robinhood.
Oh yeah, it's not, but it's to build a sticky product for Robinhood, something that people don't want to give up. They continue to add more and more value to it. You're paying for it, so obviously you think it's worth. And I found as well that people tend to appreciate things and see the value in things if they have to pay a little bit versus if they get something for free. You know, if you put something out on the curb, well, I've done this before, like trying to sell a piece of furniture that's nice or give it away for free, and people won't take it, and I'll put, okay, $10, and I have people like clambering over each other and saying, well, you know, what if I pick it up today? I'll give you 20, but you know, just it's weird. It's human psychology. So I think that's part of it too with both of these products. So the 10's, you know, double 5. That's a good point. And I don't think it's nearly as attractive as Robinhood Gold, but you know, it doesn't necessarily need to be. A few people take it and they're adding some value to the ecosystem. It'll make it a little bit more sticky product. So
this is just surprising me because when I listened to Noto in November, he was pitching this as a new subscription service that would be, you know, another revenue stream for at least maybe I interpreted it wrong.
It will, like, I mean, this is not, it's not going to negatively affect their business. There are going to be people that pay $10 a month, but I think it's just to get them through the door. So then they end up taking out more products. But I think you just miss the mark on SoFi sometimes. Like, it's not like, first of all, what did you think about the quarter? Did you listen to the call and everything?
Yeah, I thought it was a good quarter. The only issue was they reported on the worst day of 2025, which that's not their fault. B, the EPS guidance was light for 2025, but they reaffirmed the 2026 guidance, which got the stock from 15 to 16 in like 2 seconds, right? So the street was happy about that. I don't think it was a bad quarter at all. My beef with SoFi has always been they don't care enough about the product. And when you make a subscription product, the whole point is to like give so much value for so cheap, like a Costco type of model, which is what Noto literally referenced in that freaking Goldman talk. He referenced Costco, and now it's like, oh yeah, it's $10 a month, but it's really just to get you to have direct deposit. You know,
well,
like
in that Goldman talk, he also referenced, and he said like this was the best macroeconomic time in the last 7 years since he's been the CEO. And then they come out with this guidance, and it's like, I don't know that was Anthony Noto. That might have been somebody that just maybe an Anthony Noto impersonator, possibly, that was in that conference.
You weren't a fan of the guidance?
No,
I don't think many people were.
It was really weird that at one moment they would say, or he would say, actually 2 different instances, how amazing the macro lines up for SoFi, all these massive tailwinds and everything. And then they would come out with their typical conservative guidance to the extent where they didn't have a triple beat. They had a double beat, and they beat as far as guidance on revenue, but not on EPS. Taxes, yes, is part of the reason, but still. And the tech guide, by the way, not good. It was a decent quarter. I gave it a B grade, but yeah. Hopefully Robinhood is better. They don't guide. That's one thing that we brought up is like, it's super nice that Robinhood doesn't do guidance. So we just have to worry about, okay, are they going to beat on EPS? Are they going to beat on revenue? Good enough.
They give the last month's numbers. So
yeah. And that's better.
Again, the only reason
that's not guidance. That's not like they're filling in what has already happened, but they've not like 2025 has not happened. SoFi doesn't know what's going to happen for the rest of the year. You know, saying that December numbers have come through and Robinhood is giving what they literally came out with, that's not guidance. That's just giving us numbers early.
Yeah, that's fair. And it's because obviously Robinhood's business is more contingent on market dynamics. The only reason I brought this up again, it's not to pick a bone at SoFi or anything, but it's weird. I was pitched that this was going to be a subscription service that they were trying to get millions of people to pay $5 a month on, like Hood, and then we could compare them. But now it's just like, that's not the purpose. The purpose is to get you through the door. And you could say that's Robinhood's purpose, but then Robinhood charges you $5 a month. So they make $100 million. That's a product-led approach in terms of their go-to-market. Whereas for SoFi, it seems more like a gimmick of just getting you in the door to set up direct deposit.
I think the difference is too is that the amount of money that Robinhood can make on your deposits is a lot different than the money that SoFi can make as a bank, and so they don't need your $5 a month. And
that's fair. Yeah.
It's a little different. I think almost Robinhood needs that to fill the gap.
Okay, so let's talk about what Roy found out over the weekend. Roy, I'll give the stage to you. This was pretty huge. What did you find with this Bitstamp acquisition that none of us are talking about?
So we'll take a step back. And so SAB 122 was released, which basically gets rid of SAB 121 for the SEC. This was a publication that was issued by the SEC that it didn't prevent banks from holding and custodying crypto, but it effectively did. It basically made it so that it was a poison pill, and the more crypto they had, the worse it was for the bank, and no bank would want to touch it at all, period. So all of a sudden, Trump, was elected, and we knew that would be bullish for crypto and be great for Hood. And we speculated that something like this would happen, where banks would be able to custody crypto. And all of a sudden, that's the case, sort of. So SAB 122 removes SAB 121. Great, because all of a sudden, banks that don't handle tech very well typically are looking at developing a crypto platform. Even platforms that are competitors to Robinhood. Schwab is one of those that they had earnings last week, and they talked after an analyst asked about them about crypto and building out their platform and the interest and everything. And I think we'll see a lot of that with banks. Now, SoFi, I think they'll be good. They'll launch their invest platform. I do kind of wonder if they're going to go with Coinbase or if they might look for something like this. And I wondered, because I thought about some comments that were made back in the Investor Day for Robinhood regarding crypto as a service, which can mean a lot of things. I asked Vlad about that in the interview as well. And then I remember the Bitstamp acquisition. I pulled it up, and they actually have videos and different things too on the website. There's a lot more than I just posted, but they have these two pieces right here. I don't know if they existed at the time of the acquisition. They probably did. But I have to wonder, if there weren't just multiple reasons why Vlad and his team acquired Bitstamp, including perceiving that there was a decent chance, if the administration changed to Donald Trump, of a more friendly crypto environment. That wouldn't be the only reason why they acquire Bitstamp, but it would be a massive cherry on top, because they have licenses in 50 different countries to operate. And they have products very well suited for banks. Let me show you and share with you this video. And I think the volume will work, but if it doesn't, let me know.
Introducing Bitstamp as a service. Our on-demand solution lets you give your customers access to crypto markets from inside your existing apps and products. So instead of moving money to other companies to buy crypto, your customers can take care of all their crypto exchange needs with you. When you accelerate your market entry with the world's
You see that banking API?
Yeah.
#1 crypto exchange, you'll benefit in 3 ways. Gain competitive advantage, generate new revenue streams, and get ready for future growth to stay ahead of the market. Just connect to our API and add our buttons to your apps. You'll get our institutional-grade processes and infrastructure, like matching orders, ensuring safe custody, and KYC for smooth sign-ups, all without losing the flexibility you need. Plus, more than 50 global licenses and registrations mean full compliance, so you can focus on giving your customers a great experience. Bitstamp is the world's longest-running crypto.
And it's probably enough. There's a little bit more there, but yeah, I was looking at Galileo. I think Galileo and SoFi's tech platform benefits from this too. But man, they just seem even better positioned to go after that demographic of banks that want to offer something like this, that don't want to waste time and try to build that out themselves and figure all that out, and just say, hey, Robinhood, you got a service there? Let's use you.
So to refresh, when we were last week talking about Robinhood's new neobanking product, we shared a video from their Investor Day, and their head of credit basically said, we have something pretty cool coming up that's as cool as the 3% cash back. And we were trying to figure out, what is it? Your argument, Roy, is that it might be a banking API integrated into crypto as a service via the Bitstamp acquisition. what do you think the tangible consumer product of that looks like? If you
And
had to
I didn't even connect those two dots, so that's that's another layer in it. As far as consumer side, I think it'll be a service that works kind of like the SoFi Invest, the crypto platform worked as well. Now, a lot of regulation has to change or be updated or clarified before banks are able to do this. But based on Schwab's comments, they're expecting it by the end of the year as very likely. Today, Anthony Noto was asked about that in earnings for SoFi. And it seemed like that they were expecting that at some point this year. They talked about going after that really aggressively. And so, at least with the Schwab earnings, they talked about, I think they had a 400% uptick in visitors to their crypto site, which they can't do much with yet. Basically, they're showcasing the interest in crypto as a product and wanting to actually be able to custody that directly. So, yeah, it's a really, really exciting development. There's one other piece to this too, was the quote from Johan, and he's the, can't remember his exact title, but he's the head of the crypto service team on Robinhood. And the bitstamp acquisition will enable us to move quickly into that space with an already established business with long-standing relationships, and some of their offerings like crypto as a service, combined with Robinhood's scale and expertise, we believe we'll be able to offer unique services to institutions and get market share in this space very quickly. And this is their first institutional product. I don't think that this is as small a deal as I thought initially. I'm like, oh yeah, it's a nice add-on. It's interesting. It's like, this could be really cool.
You know what's funny is if Robinhood and SoFi just swap tech, like Galileo supports all the Robinhood cards and everything on the, legacy financial side, and then Robinhood hooks SoFi up. They're like, here, let's bring some of this new tech in for you guys. I like the idea of that.
Honestly, yeah. And they offer a lot of different tokens too on Bitstamp. That's why I'm very curious. Like, is SoFi,
they're over like 110 now or something, right? Like way more than Robinhood is at.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And so hopefully, like, that's one of those things that I'm really keeping my eyes on with this earnings, is if we get any update on when this acquisition is actually finalized. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, it's supposed to happen sometime in the first quarter, but I could be off on that. Maybe it was first half.
I always thought it was Q2 25.
Okay, yeah, first half then.
I could be wrong. I'm not, but yeah, that's what I remember it to be.
But I think with the regulation, and I've talked about this elsewhere, Tanner and I talked about this too, is on SoFi Weekly. Tanner thinks it'll happen sooner than I do, but I'm an American and I know government, even when they're working fast, it's still pretty slow. So I'm thinking, even if it's late.
Well, Noto did say today that they're going to be aggressive in getting crypto back. Right?
SoFi, yes, not the government, unless I misunderstood the context there. But no, there's a lot of different organizations in the government that have to clarify, update, or change their regulation, and a lot of different moving parts. And I think it gets done. I mean, David Sachs, I think, is a driving force there, and Trump is, I guess, not sleeping anymore, working on maybe AIP or something. I don't know, but getting a ridiculous amount done. So I could be wrong, but I think very late this year or very early next year is when, all the regulation and everything is cleared. And for SoFi, they'll be ready to go like immediately. Robinhood, ready to pounce on that. And a lot of banks will be like, okay, we need help here. And this allows enough time for, the acquisition to come through. It allows enough time for those conversations to happen. And Robinhood could pitch and say, hey, this is what it's going to look like. And I agree, Tanner, I would love to see a little bit closer relationship between Robinhood and SoFi. SoFi does use, or Robinhood does use SoFi products. It'd be great if it's a little tit for tat type thing.
Yeah. Maybe a little discount on both ends.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like this thing that you found, Roy, because we were trying to figure out what is this neo-banking product that they've been saying they're going to eventually show at the next gold event. And now that SAB 121 is the SEC greenlighting banks, Bitstamp offering some white label as a service product using Robinhood's distribution via crypto. I don't know what the consumer version of that looks like, but I mean, it's the same vocabulary that they were using around this neobanking product. And then on Bitstamp right here, you're seeing them talking about leveraging existing infrastructure as a neobank. So, I mean, that'll be exciting. I don't know what that means for the consumer, though, because it's going to have to be something like that's a sexy 3% cashback type of product, but it wouldn't be bad.
Yeah, and it's really good news. Like the SAB 121, like we see and we know what crypto will look like, when they report in Q4, and it's massive for Robinhood. It's not small at all. They'll be able to roll out more tokens regardless, but the implication is more people will be participating in the crypto market, which is a really good thing for crypto in general. And as those tokens go up and as there's more interest and as more people are buying, I mean, it doesn't get much easier as far as access than just downloading the Robinhood app and doing crypto on that. I bought some crypto before the dip, but I added some Bitcoin buys and a little bit of Dogecoin just for fun too. And it was easy. It's actually my first time buying crypto on Robinhood in a while. Well, no, that's not true. I bought some with the Dogecoin event too. I was like, hey, let me round that out even.
Tanner, what are you laughing at, bro?
I'm sorry, dude.
Like, what comment is making? What comment? Which
The
one?
first one that got me was, has Mr. Wonderful tried to buy Deepseek yet? That killed me. And then someone said that I look like the love child between Jeffrey Dahmer and Celine Dion. Which kills me because, like, she's a Canadian icon here.
Bro, I don't even want to see the comments they've been making about my hat, bro. Like, there's probably too many of them.
Dude, people are brutal.
Dude, you gotta have a thick skin to do YouTube, bro. You better have a thick freaking skin.
Oh,
No
I
one
love
makes
it.
fun
I
of
think
Roy.
it's hilarious.
Everyone makes fun of us. No one ever makes fun of Roy. Roy never gets any like comments that call him out. Everyone just
Dude,
loves Roy.
I saw one, and we were doing the SoFi Weekly the other day, and someone said, Roy has a millionaire laugh. And right before he was going, oh, and I just, oh man, this is honestly the best. YouTube has been the best thing I've ever done with my life. It's so amazing. We just get to come on here and talk crap and
get roasted and abused by strangers across the world.
Honestly, you only really get made fun of by people that love you. That's
true. That's true.
So it's fun.
I love the community on here and on X too. It's awesome.
Do we want to talk about Vlad dumping $25 million of Robinhood stock? What do you guys think? 500,000 shares.
Good timing.
Great timing. $50, dude. He got a nice little exit.
I don't think it matters at all. So, Vlad, just like all the other CEOs that sell their stocks that continue to go up, he's been selling for a while. If Noto sold like even a little bit, I'd be furious. But
dude, that's the wild part.
But because Vlad sells a bunch, there's something about it whenever someone says, oh, it's already a pre-made plan. I'm like, oh, well, then it doesn't matter, even though it's the same thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It is.
But yeah.
My take on it is simple. I mean, Robin has delivered massive shareholder appreciation. And so when you sell your stock and the stock doesn't go up for everyone that holds it, that's cashing out. But I mean, the stock went from 8 to 50. It's like you can't be upset at that, and a lot of that is because of Vlad. So
he gave up a $500 million founder award. Like, let the guy, his pockets are empty. Like let him get a little money.
This is the beautiful thing about being a founder and an entrepreneur in the United States. You have an idea. They could barely get funding for this thing back in 2013. I was actually listening to a podcast with his co-founder Beju, who was talking about how they got funding from Tim Draper, which, if anyone doesn't know, he's like a legend in just business in general. And they went up to him. They asked him for money. He said no. They came back and they said, all right, we're not going to take a salary, because that was his like big concern, is that these guys are taking an $80,000 salary. And then he finally gave them the seed money. And so they had to convince him they wouldn't take any money and they would bike to work and live in the Bay Area, which was still very expensive. And they got the money. And now, the company's worth $45 billion. Like, you deserve to benefit from the fruits of your labor, especially if everyone goes along the ride with you.
Yeah.
I don't have an issue with it.
And every time that he takes money out, if X stock, if you could buy shares of X stock Boy, would you do that? Because that guy buys shoes. He really does. Vlad. You think he's buying real estate or something, or helping out his kids?
Dude, I
or
wonder what
something
he
like-
does
I don't
with
know
his
if he has
money,
kids.
bro. Maybe that's another question we should ask him one day. Like, what does he like to? Because
He likes shoes.
He does, yeah.
He likes
Yeah,
it so
but-
much of it. He was the CEO is a panelist on the Hood summit or whatever.
Yep.
yeah, but like, what does he really do with his money? Because he can't trade stocks, right? So, like, what does he do when he cashes out 25 million after paying half of that to the government? I don't know. Does he buy?
I don't
bonds
know.
or something. Like,
I'm not that rich. I just think they all buy bunkers and big ranches, and I don't know.
GPU clusters. Wait, no, that's something different.
what? We don't need GPU clusters anymore, bro. Deepseek. We don't need that.
That's
shit.
right. Yeah, it's done. AI's done.
Yeah.
So here's an update to the Robinhood investors page. Roy, you want to talk a little bit about why this is cool?
Yeah. So if you've never been on this page before, you're like, oh yeah, what's the big deal? I think all three of us will look at quite a few different investor relation pages. Some are quite clean and easy to navigate. Others are just like they've not updated what it looks like since like 2002. So Robinhood, I don't know when they did this. I hadn't been on, in a week or two, but I looked a couple of days ago. I think Amit, you saw it before I did. But they updated it fairly recently, and just like looking through this, everything is clean. They've updated the fonts to the Robinhood font that they chose when they did the rebranding. You see the rebranding up top as well. That it's all it's very readable too for those that are colorblind. And just a nice look in every single bit of this too. It's not just the front-facing page that when you click on the reports and everything, it's very clean. It's laid out well. It's easy to read, easy to find things. It has a most important information first, and they just did a really nice job. And it's one of those things where, does that move the stock? No. Is it like hugely significant? No. But it's a really, really nice touch. I liked it.
Yeah, I agree. I liked it. They updated it. It looks nice. I mean, I'm assuming they are ready for a monster Q4 and they wanted to update the website before they announce it. Over the weekend, when that whole Trump meme coin thing was happening, we did have Hood gap up to like number 50 or number 54 on the App Store. So that was bullish. And then crypto, obviously, we talked about it last week, but it still had some pretty good volumes since we had Hood weekly. Now I think it's leveling off a little bit, but it looks like January is still going to be a good month for crypto. And that should help them beat going into Q1 2025 earnings as well.
Can I just give a little shout out to your audience really quick? I have someone just put in the chat. Someone tell Tanner that he said Linkly. I'm using Notion, but I just clicked on my link thing and it's rate limited. So I don't know how that happened, but I think there might have been too many requests or something. I don't know, but
wait, what is Linkly?
I don't know what Linkly is, but I assume it's like a link tree type product.
Okay.
I use Notion though for that, but
okay. So why are you bringing it up? What's the point?
well, I appreciate that your audience has clicked on that link so many times that it now doesn't work.
Got you.
But I don't know why it doesn't work. But
how do you know it's my audience? You put it in the chat or something?
Oh, I'm sure my audience doesn't click on my own. Like they know who I am.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Got you. I see what you're saying. Got you.
But no, I didn't put it in the chat. Just someone in the chat said it. Yeah.
Your OnlyFans is there,
Yeah.
correct?
After today's NVIDIA and Sofi dump, I guess desperate times call for desperate measures. This way, you can at least buy the dip. So,
Yeah. Are you guys going to be buying this week? What are you guys buying?
I bought NVIDIA. I sold puts on NVIDIA. I sold puts on Sofi. And I sold puts on Hood. That was it.
Nice.
Roy, I think you bought Hood today, right?
I bought Hood. I sold puts on GameStop.
Dude, you're in love with that company. You love it.
It's in my swing and trade portfolio. So that side of the portfolio, it's not a long-term hold, but yeah, it's the nice thing about, like, if you're an options seller, any added volatility like from this is fantastic, and only sell options and companies you don't mind either having them called away or buying with cash secure puts. And I wouldn't mind swimming that either way. But no, it's great. It's wonderful. By the way, did you notice you sell options on Robinhood, right, Amit? Or
Yeah.
not as much?
Yeah. Yep.
Did you notice that the fees are a little bit higher?
It's by 1 cent. Yeah.
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 So I'm
we
kinda
covered
curious.
that,
I
right?
know part of that's regulatory fees or
Oh, that's regulatory. That's regulatory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that all regulatory, you think, or are they like rounding up and keeping a little bit, or
Well, they
given
are
all the
rounding.
fees, given all the fees they've been charged with, I don't think they're allowed to lie on that, bro. I think they have to be.
No, but
accurate.
we did this on the. Did we not all do this together? I thought we did this on this channel.
We did, but it's 4 cents. You're saying, Tanner, what they keep like 0.001%?
Well, I don't know if they can. I don't know if they keep. Well, they said they round it up.
Oh, they did. You're right. They did.
Yeah.
Maybe they keep a little bit then. Maybe.
Yeah. It's not going to make a difference.
not much of it? I mean, every little bit, but it's not a. They're making a lot of money, so
Yeah. Okay, so last thing we have on Hood, which isn't too crazy, but the $50 call option for April 17th had 8,000 contracts traded today with $4 million of premium added to it. So whoever was taking advantage of this dip today believes that Hood gets to 50 again. And 50 potentially, might become support as we see all this volume coming into that. We also had a couple $1 million into 2026 $47 puts that were sold today as well. So you had some people swipe that premium up here today. That's it. That's what we got for Hood.
Yeah, sorry, I'm a little low. I feel like I'm bringing this whole thing down. I'm just low energy today. I'm wondering.
Dude, I think everyone's just so tired after, all the shit we had to deal with today in the markets.
dude, it's been one of those whirlwind days, and not just on the market. It's like a good day, but man, full. It feels like 2 days worth of days, honestly. So it's one of those where I wasn't so happy like with so many weeks where we didn't have a full opening for the market every single day. And now I'm like, it wouldn't be too bad to have like Wednesday or Thursday, just like, hey, take a day off.
Yes. And also, Tanner, why don't you tell everybody what happened to you today?
What happened?
It was a record day for you.
Oh,
This is an accomplishment, bro. As an investor, this is like, we got to celebrate this.
it was a record amount of losses today.
Tanner had his worst day of paper losses in the history of being in the stock market today.
Yeah, which has been 9 years and 3 months. This is the worst.
So
Not
was
in
this-
a percentage
like-
basis, I assume, but
Was this a 6-figure loss or close to 6 figures?
I'm not gonna say that. But
Okay, it was. A
it
lot.
sucked.
A 7-figure loss. Okay, cool. So it was this.
And it was in American dollars. So like if it was $1 million in Canadian, that's like $100, no big deal. But
Yeah.
this is real money, not monopoly
It's
money.
hyperinflation over here.
Dude, my biggest day was like 105 grand after the J-Pow presser. Just like everything went to shit after J-Pow talked. But today it wasn't because I'm not as heavy in NVIDIA, so obviously today wasn't that bad. But
Yeah, I have an unintentional hedge on some of my Palantir position by having covered calls underwater. So
that's true.
Like,
That is
well, the bright spot is days like this. It's like, okay, well, it could be a lot worse. It actually wasn't that bad. I had segments of my portfolio up pretty good for a while and came back down, then went back up. So Sofi was not good. It did not contribute positively. For a while, Robinhood was even up. That was the weirdest thing. I think that the initial right off the bat at 9:30, it went up, broke above $50, and of course, But I was disappointed at that point. So what I've wanted to do with Robinhood, I'm doing a DCA thing on shares. So my ad for Robinhood was not like a huge amount. I did buy a little bit more than I typically buy on Robinhood. But I would absolutely love some irrational event where there's a mass like what happened with NVIDIA. I don't know that that's fully irrational, but the market always does things in extremes. If it takes Robinhood down to like $35 a share, I've been wanting that for the longest time. Just to not only just stock up on finished buying all the shares that I want to have, but also buy some leaps. And so like looking at that $50 leap thing, it's like, that'll probably work out. Maybe that's, not far enough away as far as time. I always want to give myself more time. So I'm not going to do that. But if we get an irrational sell-off and everything's just tanking and Robinhood is down 20%, something, oh man, sign me up for that.
Well, that's the thing. It didn't really feel like August 5th where everything was hit. It was just this one sector that affected other sectors. But if you were heavy semis, energy infrastructure, data center infrastructure, and then NVIDIA, it was probably a horrible day.
I was literally talking to Roy on Friday, and I was like, this Deepseek thing can be a really big deal, not because it is a big deal, but because how concentrated the market is into the companies that this is a big deal for. And I didn't think it was going to get this bad.
And it could get worse.
Yeah, it could.
Do you own NVIDIA, Emmett?
Well, I bought 50 shares today. I bought 100 shares because Tanner convinced me after we had this beautiful debate on NVIDIA. And I was like, you know what? I'm probably wrong. Tanner's a smarter guy than me. And it's not cyclical. And, there's unlimited chip demand. And I bought it at the beautiful price of $139.
There is unlimited chip demand.
No, which I think Tanner's going to be right on this. I think this whole thing is the dumbest dip ever. And I bought the dip today, but I don't know, dude. I think in a couple months we're going to be looking at 120 and be like, this can't be. Deepseek cannot be what destroys the NVIDIA thesis. Because if it is, there was never a thesis. If Deepseek destroyed it,
it's not deep. No one's worried about Deepseek. I think people are worried about the fact that if this can be done, then every company is going to create a team to say, "Hey, replicate this efficiency," and task them into doing that. But if no one had done it, no one's going to even look for that solution other than the super hungry, starved companies that need to make it that efficient.
But as you said earlier today, even if everyone replicates the efficiency, if we're going to AGI, we need 1,000x more demand.
Yes.
Right. So that's the bull case. Ultimately.
But if you model, so I think a lot of people took the risk that, okay, well, if this does 1,000x, NVIDIA is not going to be the only player. We're not going to get a moat like that. But if you model out a certain amount, and then even if you have to draw it back, that's still going to change your models. So it doesn't matter how much people drew it back. People thought that the overall chip demand lessened today.
Right.
Regardless of how much you think it is, it got lessened.
Do you personally think chip demand lessened today on a practical level?
I don't know.
See, this is the issue I have, because you're so deep in NVIDIA, and for you to say I don't know means that there's an issue. There are people that are really questioning it,
Well, yeah, I mean, it's it's very, like, it is scary, but also
dude, I expect someone like you to be like, this is bullshit. There's so much chip demand. And I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying the fact that you're acting like this means that the market was correct for taking it down 15% because everyone's scared.
Well, I don't know if the total, but you don't lose 600 billion off like fluff. I mean, there's definitely real, like, I don't know, like it is worrisome. People just don't know how much, like the story of DeepSeek having NVIDIA chips or not, is whether that's true. I'm leaning on the side. I don't know. I don't think any stock has 100% conviction. I don't even think the Palantir people think that. And so,
why do you throw so many shots at us, bro?
Like, I'm jealous. You missed
it. It's okay. You missed it. You don't gotta throw this shade every time.
No, you know what's funny? I had it and then I didn't continue to hold it.
You didn't believe in Carp, bro. You didn't believe in Carp. Gotta believe in his hair.
Yeah. Someone said I panic sold NVIDIA today. I wouldn't be so depressed if I sold. It didn't turn around. Well, I mean,
dude, but that was the crazy. It didn't turn around. It just like there was no bounce, nothing. It was just stuck the whole day, getting a new bottom every hour.
Yeah, I don't think. I think a lot of it, to be honest, I think a lot of this gets cleared up on the earnings, or even like Roy said today. He said, he thinks a lot of this gets cleared up even by big tech earnings. Meta comes around, their earnings come out, they hold up their CapEx spend guidance for 2025. This is over, or at least a lot of it gets closed. I think Well, I can't see the number too well. It looked like it was up, but I didn't see the number.
122. Yeah, it's up 366 overnight. So
Yeah.
look, it's better than normal volume, but it's still low volume. It's just low liquidity, rather.
Yeah. No, I'm going to be listening very anxiously to NVIDIA's call, but this is not the first time there's been big sells on NVIDIA. I think NVIDIA shareholders get scared very quickly because they're beholden to other markets. Like whenever crypto crashed in like 2018, the stock fell like 48%, 49%. Like it was crazy.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. And I hope it's short-lived, but I think it's overdone, but I'm not certain. I was asking Tanner, I'm like, you're the expert here, tell me. And he's like, I don't know. So if it keeps falling at some point, I will get tempted. NVIDIA is one of 5 stocks on my closely watch list, and one of those I'll end up making a full position at some point this year. And it may be NVIDIA. NVIDIA like has my interest, has my attention, especially as it's falling. Hopefully it goes down further.
Dude, I don't know if Tanner could handle this thing going down further, bro.
He can. Look at him. Like he's stoic.
He can handle it, but it's gonna hurt, bro. It's gonna hurt.
I'm good, honestly. I am good. I'm just looking back at it. I'm like, dude, 600 billion. I'm just thinking about that right now. I'm like, that was 12 NVIDIAs in 2018 or so. like something crazy like this is what they just crashed on. It's just I don't know.
Wild.
I'm exhausted. This adds on to it.
Does your girl know what happened today? Did you tell her at all?
Yeah.
Did you show her the number?
I'm sure she sees it. We have shared access. She can see my stuff.
Damn.
Yeah.
It was funny, dude. My dad, I thought he would be upset. He was like, let's buy the dip on NVIDIA. I was like, dude, this guy's becoming an investor now. He wants to buy the dip. He's not scared about it at all.
But that can be very dangerous as well.
Of course.
Because if you're just buying and you don't know what you're buying, then that's very dangerous.
If it's based on the stock price. I mean, sometimes dips are justified. Things get overvalued or there's something that the market hadn't considered.
I think that one thing I'm really trying to do is that, I don't think, and I'm not saying this about NVIDIA, but I just don't know, is that not every dip is supposed to be bought. Peter Lynch said the dark is just before the darkest. No, what is it?
What?
No. Sorry, it's dark just before pitch black. That's what it is. I'm really tired. So there doesn't have to be a dawn. Okay. There doesn't have to be a shining light in markets is essentially what he's trying to say. It can get worse. And then whenever you think that the dip is fully dipped, it can get much worse.
Even dippier.
Yeah, it can get dippier. People said,
all right, it's time to go to bed, bro. It's time to go to bed.
Yeah,
thank you for joining,
guys. It's been a long day.
No, it's not just you, dude. All of us are tired. Also, we were light on the Hood news this week, so next week we'll have a Hood earnings preview, and we'll keep going from there. All right, thank you, everybody. I'll see you guys on the Market Open tomorrow. Everyone's Twitters and YouTube's in the description, and we'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, guys.
Everyone. Have a good one.